Welcome back. The private space race is heating up. Aerospace startup Rocket Lab becomes the first private company to reach space from the southern hemisphere late last month. NASA has already taken notice. Joining us right now is the CEO of Rocket Lab, Peter Beck. Peter, good to have you on the program. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
What was the biggest takeaway from your latest test launch?
Well, I mean, it was a great first launch, and we achieved on that launch what most countries do, let alone companies do. So as the beginning of our flight test program, and it's put us in a really solid position to start our commercial launch program later on this year.
Well, so you're in New Zealand and California. What's the benefit of being in New Zealand? Is it a cost thing? Is it, what's the deal?
So the deal really is that it's purely geography. So from New Zealand we can achieve the largest amount of launch azimuth and the highest launch frequency out of any other launch site in the world. So our launch site is the only private orbital launch site in the world, but it's also a launch site that's licensed to launch every 72 hours for the next 30 years. So we can really get some serious launch frequency out of that site.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Peter, we're seeing this kind of exciting space race here. People bringing payloads into space better, faster, cheaper. In terms of consumers thinking about the benefit, is it mainly future ideas about travel, or is it more about new services that we'll enjoy when satellites can be launched more cheaply, or other technologies?
Absolutely. I mean, space is just an infrastructure domain, no different to any other infrastructure domain like water and electricity. But the problem is that up until relatively recently, or even still, the cost and the frequency of getting there is just so prohibitive that really you've got to be a government to make use of it. The whole point of Rocket Lab and what we're trying to achieve here is democratize space and make it a domain that everyone can use. And we see really exciting programs like Internet from Space, 600 satellites beaming Internet from space to every single person on the planet. That really has a massive change for humanity. But it's all academic unless we can find a way to get these satellites up quickly and reliably and cheaply.
Peter, what do you think about Elon Musk? I'll just say his name and say discuss.
Look, Elon's definitely paved the way for commercial space ventures, and he's doing an amazing thing with his program to Mars. We're doing things a little bit differently. We're trying to commercialize space. Elon is trying to go to Mars. So we're not really the competitors. The only thing we really compete for is talent, but an incredible human being for sure.
So you've already inked deals with NASA, among others. What technology is Rocket Lab offering that is so enticing? Walk us behind the tech.
Sure. So, I mean, the launch frequency is really the most important thing, and the vehicle itself. The average cost of a rocket, if you want to rock up and buy a rocket, you're going to have to shell out about $180 to $200 million. If you want to buy one of our rockets, it's a $5 million price tag. So it's quite a difference in cost there from the get-go, but also instead of waiting years to get on orbit, you only need to wait weeks.
Why is it such a huge difference in the price? How are you able to offer that rocket at $5 million?
It's really,
yeah.
Sure. Yep, it's really totally rethinking about how you build a rocket. So our rockets are designed for production, and we additively manufacture or 3D print all of our engines. So we can print one engine every 24 hours with that technology, and everything about the company and everything about the launch vehicle is all focused on how do we make space accessible? How do we get the frequency to space right up there?
Well, you've got a $1 billion valuation on the company. You're a unicorn out there in the space exploration space. Is an IPO on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the future holds. It is a pretty capital-intensive business, building launch vehicles and launch sites. But yeah, we'll certainly see what the future holds on that one.
All right, we'll be watching, Peter. Thanks so much for joining us. Peter Beck.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
Joining us this morning.